Alright there, hello, welcome to my channel. I showed you guys everything I'm using. I threw it on the couch so you guys could see. You can use all sorts of jewelry pieces to make whatever type of jewelry piece you want to make for your home. Jewelry accent, accessory around pots to stray along your table, to put up on a shelf. Whatever you want to do with these pieces, you do you, boo. Okay, so we're going to start with some wooden beads. I'm actually going to be using these smaller ones in this jar, and I'm also going to be using some cross beads, some brown beads, and we're going to make like a rosary type thing to put around a bottle. First, I'm spraying this twine, get it nice and wet so I can twist it and string it through the needle. Once I have a needle on this, then I can just start poking the beads onto the needle. Then it goes onto the thread slash jute twine, you know. Just basically string beads on. I mean, it's not that hard. See what I'm doing? You know what I mean? So now that I'm to this point, I picked this little area here that's going to go through or both sides are going to go through the one bead. And then we're going to start putting beads on both ends to create our little rosary or wooden necklace rosary. Whatever you want to call this. Our last bead, we cannot forget the cross. In case you are an idiot like me and you do this on your couch and get all these little fibers all over your couch, you can just take some tape and go back and forth like what I'm doing to collect fibers off of the couch. But just don't do this. Just work on a hard surface table so that you can just sweep it up, mop it up, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Bloop! And here is the finished rosary necklace that I'm draping all over these books. Alright, moving on to the next necklace or home decor jewelry, whatever you want to call these things that we're decorating our home with. Home decor accessory. Okay? Now this one by far is my favorite one. So I got these beads, the big medium brown ones from Michael's, and the ones to the right that are like a really light colored diamond shaped. These are all wood beads, by the way. Got those from Michael's, and the crosses, again, I got those from Hobby Lobby. So I'm just now lining up the pattern I want to create with these, and I wanted to use all of these beads, so kind of put them like 1, 2, 1, 2, like alternating pattern. But then I got to the end and was like, oh, I have one left. What do I do? So I had to rethink this, and I counted them out and was like, okay, wow. So then I just decided, well, let's do like one of each. So we'll take these out, and then we'll put the ones remaining on the end to kind of give this nice flow. So then I had 4 on each end of the diamond shape. Then I had 1 diamond shape left over, so I counted out like where the middle was and stuck it there. It's okay, that used all the beads. And then, yeah, so then I started stringing them onto the twine. But I do highly recommend like putting your pattern out in front of you before you string them on to the string. I mean, you could go very randomly, but I think having a nice pattern makes this more presentable in your home. A bit more professional looking, if you will, almost as if you bought this from the store. So anyways, after I've strung them all on, here is what it looks like. I'm obsessed. I love the warm tones this gives me life. I wanted to add some very long fringe pieces on the ends, so I cut out about 8 pieces of twine, and they measured out about 10 inches long, because we're going to fold this in half and make like a 5-inch fringe little moment on the ends of this jewelry piece, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so what we're going to do is make the fringe pieces. I have both of them kind of out. So we're folding it in half, and then I'm going to take the end of the beaded strand and tie a knot around the middle of the fringe, like so. And then once I'm done, I want it to look more like, a nice fringe moment. So I'm going to close everything in on itself, just kind of gather everything together. And then I'm going to use this pink clamp and clamp it in place. Then I'm going to cut out another piece of twine, and I'm going to wrap it around the top of the fringe. I'm going to call this the head. We'll call it the head, and the tails are kind of hanging, okay? So on the head, I'm just making like a loop and holding that with my thumb, and then I'm looping the twine around itself, around the head, this is the neck. We're on the neck, if that makes sense. Okay, we're just looping around. Once we get to the end, like we run out, we're going to take that little teeny piece and push it through the loop that we were holding with our thumb, like so. Okay, hang on to that little tail, and then we're going to pull the first tail that we had kind of hanging there. Pull it real taut, and it should pull the end tail that we just had kind of through the neck to create our little fringe moment at the top that makes it look very nice and neat, kind of gathers everything together. So after you've done that, I'm going to then unravel all these little pieces of twine. This does take a minute, but I would go ahead and do it because the end result looks way better than what it does if you leave it. I mean, you can if you want, but I'm just telling you it looks way better. You want it more full, like fluffy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, right now that it's beautiful and fluffy, I want to then add the 3 pieces of the crosses into the fringe. So I picked out the longest strand, and I took a little bit of glue on the end of my finger, just like this tacky glue from Dollar Tree. Sorry, my hair is in the way. So yeah, anyways, I put that on my finger, and then I just kind of spun the end of the twine like in my fingers to tighten it up. That way I was able to just push it through the little hole on the cross, and then I tied a knot. I did about 3 knots. That way it was like really nice and secure, and then I just trimmed off the little excess piece that, wasn't needed on the very end. And then I had a little cross that was hanging inside of the fringe. That's kind of what I was going for. And I had 3 colors of the crosses, so I could do 3 on each side. And again, I'm just picking out my longest strands within the bunch. The longest ones, you're going to have longest ones. You're going to have those. So yeah, after you're done, then you can go back through and trim up any excess that like maybe you don't like it. Maybe pieces are too long or it's too like fluffy in some areas. And this is making a big mess with the little fibers falling apart out of the twine. So that is definitely going to happen. I recommend working on a table surface. So once you got all your trimming work done, I do recommend putting this in place how you want it with your fingers like this. And just give it a coat of hairspray. Like just spray it down, and it will stop the fibers from going everywhere. I love using like a hairspray on this. It works really good. So this is what it looks like, and this is how I styled it. Style it several different ways. Alright, so I picked up these toy wheels, $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. Use a coupon, 40% off. Go the next day and use the same coupon, 40% off, and get a bag of these. They're dowel caps. This is the size. These were for something. So I just used coupon on both of them. But as you can see here, the hole doesn't go all the way through these ones. So we're going to have to just put the hole all the way through. Very simple. I just took the screw, or the drill, and I just drilled with the proper size, like so, and it's that easy. Now we have holes in all of them, and they're ready to be strung onto some string. In this case, we're using jute, like this. I love this jute. I do. Again, you can use a coupon, $2.99, 40% off, Hobby Lobby. You get a whole big roll of it. So these ones, I'm not connecting them all the way around as if it was a necklace. I'm just doing like one strand. So I'm doing the pattern of one ball on each side, and then I want 3 of the round wheels in between. So it's like ball, and then 3 wheels, and then ball. If that makes sense. That's the pattern I went for. And the whole price of this was well under $10. And you could buy smaller versions already made at Hobby Lobby for like $20. So I'm pretty happy with the result. I've made several different types of wooden beads. I'm obsessed. They're so fun. And you can just string them wherever you want to put them around your house. I love it. Alright, once you get to the end, just tie a little knot. That way the beads are not able to slip off. For now, you really don't need this knot if you're going to go ahead and go into making the little fringe piece on the end, which I end up doing that anyway. So I cut the other end and I made sure I had enough on both sides. You want probably like 10, 11 inches worth of working, maybe even a little more. But basically, we're going to start by measuring how long we want that fringe. So I went about like 4 inches long, and I just took the fringe, or not the fringe, but the jute rope, jute string, whatever, and I cut it so that it was like 3 inches on, 3.5 inches on one side, 3.5 on the other, and it creates, 7 total inches long. I know I'm like explaining this really retarded. But basically you just want like 7-8 inches long, and just keep cutting, or you can actually wrap it around your hand several times, then take it off and then cut one end so that you are left with 7-inch, 8-inch strands. You want about 12, 13 of them all together. So once you have that many, then you'll fold it in half. Make sure they're all kind of, even. And then we're taking the end of the string beads and we're tying that up through the middle, tying a knot around it, and then we're taking it and wrapping it on the outside. That way it secures the beads to the fringe piece. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, you can see like I'm literally just wrapping the end around to create a really nice secure moment. And I'll just tie it off with a knot. And that's pretty much it. You can leave it as is, or you can actually undo each individual strand and give a real fluffy look like I did in the last bead that I just made. But I kind of liked it like this. It gives it kind of a farmhousey look. And then I just trim it. what I was talking about with doing the other side. You can actually just wrap it around your hand, and then you have like a big loop like this, and then we're going to cut one end, and there you go. We have our 7/8 inch strands. Then we're going to take that end and put it up through the middle like this. So I hope you guys can see this a little better. Then we're just tying a knot on the same strand where that just came from, so that it's secured to the wooden beads. Then after the knot, you just wrap about 3 or 4 times, then tie it off with another knot. And I actually take another piece of jute twine right out of that bundle, and I tie another knot. That way it doesn't go anywhere. You can always use some hot glue to secure it down a little better. Then I just trim off the little extra piece.